In today's video, you'll get to watch another reincarnation anime. In this story, a dragon reincarnates as a human but remains incredibly powerful. That means it's a pretty amazing anime, so make sure to watch it till the end. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. At the beginning of episode 1, we see a guy who seals a dragon and then kills it. The dragon then wonders aloud why humans came to kill him, saying, "I've never done anything wrong, I've even helped people over time, but it seems you are all bound by things." We then see the guy looking a bit sad after killing the dragon. After the dragon's chains are broken, he remarks, "All right, I've lived quite a long life, it seems it's time for me to go. I am a divine dragon and have been alive since the gods' time, but it seems the end of a dragon in this world is just like this." After his death, the dragon requests the Grim Reaper to take his soul to the underworld so he can finally rest. But then his eyes open, and he sees his parents before him. He's reincarnated. Seeing him, a lady comments that the child looks quite gifted, to which his father responds, "Yes, that's because he's my son." His mother then names him Dolan, introducing herself as his mom, his dad, and his older brother. In the next scene, a lot of time has passed, and Dolan has grown up. He's in a field when a little girl named Eri comes up and says, "Let's go home." Dolan places his hand on her head and replies, "Yes, you are right, let's go." He then picks up his basket of vegetables and heads home. Dolan explains that he lives in a small village called Varun, located on the northern border of the continental kingdom of Earthcrest. He shares that he was once a dragon but is now reborn as a human. The village has no industry, only agriculture, and he works hard in the fields every day to earn his daily income. Adds that in his village, once you turn 15, you are considered an adult and must live independently. Now 16, Dolan left home last year and has been living alone. In the following scene, Dolan is fishing with his older brother, who reminds him about an investigation he'll be doing in the swamp the next day. His brother mentions that it's usually the garrison's responsibility, but Dolan reassures him, saying the captain and others are focused on protecting the village, so he'll handle the investigation himself. Just then, Dolan catches a huge fish and heads home, where his friends compliment him on the catch. They also ask if he's ready for the next day, and he replies that he's been preparing gradually, with their help. A girl then mentions that Dolan helped them with training, so it was their duty to help him too. Dolan asks if they're also going, to which they respond they have a meeting and will be training young kids. As Dolan heads home, he mentions that the area around Varun is full of bandits and different monsters, and since there aren't enough guards, the villagers have to protect each other. Eri comes to remind him that it's Magic Day, and Dolan recalls, saying, "You came to get me." Eri shyly confirms, and in the next scene, we see Dolan practicing his magic. He uses an energy bolt to destroy a target, impressing Eri and an elderly lady. The lady praises him for his offensive magic skills, and Dolan credits her for teaching him. She then says they'll practice magical medicine, his weakest subject, so they'll need extra time. By evening, Dolan is introduced to a young noblewoman named Celina, who will be staying in the village for a while. The village chief advises him to behave properly, given her noble status. Celina greets him and offers a handshake, and Dolan is surprised by her skillfulness. Later, he remarks how challenging it is to survive in a village with extreme cold winters and hot summers. Back home, his mother welcomes him and prepares a meal, which everyone enjoys. Dolan praises his mother's cooking, and his father suggests he find a wife who's also a good cook, but Dolan expresses his desire to enjoy his single life a bit longer. In the next scene, Dolan prepares for the swamp investigation, where his father reminds him to make his own decisions as an adult but to return safely to avoid worrying his mother. Dolan promises to share all his stories when he returns. The following morning, the captain suggests that Dolan should stay back, as the job is for soldiers. A girl tells the captain that he needs to stay to protect the village if there's an attack. A nun arrives to give Dolan a blessing from the goddess, and an elderly lady warns him of a bad omen, urging him to be cautious. Eri then shyly hands Dolan a packed lunch, which he happily accepts before heading out. Dolan narrates that the lizardmen of the swamp used to communicate with the village but suddenly disappeared. He decided to investigate what happened. Reaching the swamp, he uses his powers in the water and discovers that the earth elemental power here is strong, and the water elemental power is. He's quite weak, and then suddenly hears a sound coming from a bush, which makes him a bit alert. He thinks to himself that it must be a powerful monster. Just then, a girl appears and says, "Are you here all alone? A mere human." Seeing the girl, Dolan says to himself, "This is a lamia. You don't usually see them around here, so what's she doing here?" He thinks, though, that as rumored, she's really beautiful. Dolan replies, "Yes, I'm here alone. No one came with me. Hearing this, the girl gets quite happy and starts wondering what she should do. Should I use my charm skill on him? She thinks, I should use the moves my mom taught me. Saying this, she starts doing a strange dance, which makes Dolan think, what the duck is she doing? The girl tells him that she's not here to fight. Just then, a sand monster appears out of nowhere and attacks the girl. Dolan quickly steps in, uses his sword, and cuts off the monster's hand to save her. However, the monster's hand regenerates, so Dolan grabs the girl and hides behind a rock with her. The girl screams, what is that? Dolan covers her mouth and says, be quiet, the monster is still here. She quiets down, and they wait until the monster finally leaves. After the coast is clear, Dolan tells her she can talk now. She asks, what was that? Dolan responds, that was probably a mad earth elemental. The girl, shocked, replies, an elemental? I've never seen one before. Dolan explains that this area used to be inhabited by lizardmen, but they suddenly disappeared, likely because of these monsters. He heard that a huge earthquake had recently affected the area, probably disturbing the element. Introducing himself, he says, my name is Dolan. What's yours? The girl replies, I'm Celina. Dolan then asks, I've heard all lamias can use magic, can you? She confirms, and Dolan suggests, why don't we fight this monster together? Celina is a bit surprised and hesitant, saying, but lamias are also earth monsters, so I don't think my magic will work. Dolan then deduces, so your magic won't work against it. She looks a bit disappointed but remembers a unique racial spell that might work against the earth elemental. She agrees to support him from behind. In the next scene, they approach the monster. Celina is nervous about working with someone she just met but resolves to do her best. Dolan signals her, and they quickly advance toward the monster. The monster attacks them, but Dolan blocks the attack, allowing Celina to summon a snake from the ground to restrain it temporarily. She warns Dolan that she can't hold it for long, but he reassures her that it's enough. The elemental monster breaks free but moves slowly, giving Dolan an opening. He infuses his dragon magic into his sword and delivers a powerful blow, defeating the monster in one strike. Afterward, a large amount of sand falls on Celina, dirtying her clothes and getting sand in her mouth. Dolan thanks her for the help and formally introduces himself. I'm Dolan, from Varun village. She responds, my name is Celina, and as you can see, I'm a lamia. Dolan compliments her name and suggests, let's get you cleaned up. You must be cold. Celina agrees, and they soon find some sparkling crystals amidst the monster's remains. In the next scene, they're in a small house, with Dolan cooking while Celina dries her clothes. She asks him, you don't seem scared of me, even though I'm a lamia. Dolan replies, no, you are different from the aggressive lamias I've heard of. I didn't even think there was a lamia village nearby. So, what are you doing here? She explains, when a lamia turns 17, they have to leave the village to find a husband, as per our tradition. Dolan finds this interesting, and she continues, most lamias are female, and it's rare for us to give birth to males. If we do, they're usually of the husband's species. Lamias are a cursed race created when a human woman was cursed, and that curse was passed down through generations. We have snake-like bodies with poison, so we need a strong husband with poison resistance. Otherwise, kissing or having children could kill him. Dolan sympathizes, that sounds difficult. She shares how her mom met her dad on her journey, and her dad was human. Dolan remarks, that's lovely. She shyly asks, are you treating me like a child? Dolan says, no, I just think you're a cute lamia. Blushing, she insists, so you are treating me like a child. He laughs, then hands her food, admitting he's not as great a cook as his mom but hopes it's tasty. Celina finds the food delicious and excitedly eats, saying she's never tasted anything like it. Apologizing for her eagerness, Dolan reassures her, glad she enjoyed it. She comments, you smile beautifully when you talk about your family, you must really love them. This makes Dolan reflect, agreeing that he's grown to appreciate family and no longer feels like the lonely dragon he once was. The next morning, they part ways. Dolan wishes her luck in finding a good partner, and Celina thanks him. Dolan thinks, lamia supposedly love life energy, so let's try this. He shares some of his dragon life energy with her, but it's too strong, and she collapses. Apologizing, Dolan realizes his energy was too much for her. He says, I'm heading back to my village. Celina replies, I'm going south to find a husband. Dolan says, when your journey ends, come visit my village with your husband. I'd love to introduce you to my family. She agrees, and they wish each other well before going their separate ways. This concludes episode 1. I hope you all enjoyed this new anime. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and hit the bell icon for updates. The next episode will be released in a week, so be sure to check back then. Bye bye and peace out.